And we say happy Wednesday to everybody. Christian Ballard, Ballard Sports Media, coming at you live on a Wednesday morning. It's almost lunchtime. It's 11:24 Eastern, 10:24 where I'm at in Alabama. Figure we go ahead and go live here a few minutes early. But, we do want to look at spring games this morning. And not like we're not live for the games or anything. A-Day is 10 days away. I have been in talks with Ramajama Taylor about going to the spring game with him, and I think we can pull this off. I think we can make it work. I don't know what we're gonna do as far as pregame festivities. The game's at 3 o'clock Central Time next Saturday, so be there, show up, come hang out with us. We want to talk today about We I care about UAB, but I really want to look into Auburn and Clemson today. We will drop the link. Let's just hang out. Let's have a good time. We got a couple people watching already, so love and appreciate you guys for doing that and showing up. Be sure to hit the thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. Don't forget Sunday nights. Now I've been working the past few weeks, and we've had Easter and everything. But we do want to get back, if we can, to Sunday live call-in shows here at Ballard Sports Media. Don't forget also, you probably caught it this morning, the Ballard Blitz. We're trying to be consistent, and we're trying to get back to everything on a regular basis here at Ballard Sports Media. You can also catch A Cheap View, our baseball podcast, every Monday. I know I've missed a couple of those because of work, but again, I apologize, and we're going to do everything we can to get back on track. I have kind of gone through it lately, man. I've just been so stressed out. I just haven't. I want to desperately get back to doing what what I love doing. I know sometimes you can't always do that, but there are times where you need to do that. And it I don't I don't know. Like there's you just have to enjoy life. You have to at least a little bit. I know there's priorities. I know there's things to take care of, and I'm doing that. But like I enjoy talking with you guys. I enjoy watching football. I enjoy watching sports and talking about sports, and I haven't done that too much lately, which it is okay, but not okay for me because I know what I'm passionate about. I'm trying to work on becoming a sports journalist, right? I've been in talks. I'm set to graduate hopefully before the fall if things work out this semester with my classes. If not, then I'm looking at maybe transferring to UAB in the spring. Let me go ahead and take this one off. Check this out, man. The Slob Olympics was amazing. There's Pigskin Pete, BBD, Lou, and myself, of course, in that order, left to right. So I figured I'd show you that one. So in case anyone does show up, I'm gonna go ahead and drop the link. We got a few people watching. You guys are free to join in at any moment. We're live on Facebook and YouTube this morning for all of you, and we love and appreciate you for hanging out and watching with us. So I think for Alabama's A-Day being next week, I think next week we'll just get a video out and talk about A-Day. I don't want to look at it yet. I really don't because I I'm not ready. I'm not ready. So I would say that we need to start by looking at the games for this week, this weekend, this Saturday. And so those games are, and I got it pulled up here. There's a lot of them, but the ones to highlight, at least in my book. Now, this one's not going to be on TV, but UAB. And then I also look at, I guess, Alabama A&M. I didn't really research that one too much. Clemson is at 1 o'clock this Saturday on April 6th on the ACC Network X, which is like their premium or whatever it is, I guess. And then at 2 o'clock, you have Auburn, which I did some good research there. You also have Duquesne, North Texas, NC State. I could go down with Navy. You got to care about Navy, right? Monday, April 8th, Vanderbilt. Now that does not say if it's going to be on TV or not. It doesn't show a channel, but it'll be 6 o'clock Eastern time. Minnesota plays on Thursday, April 11th. Um, you have teams like UCF. I'll point them out being in the Big 10 or Big 12, I should say. Kansas, Army. That's April 12th for the teams that you might want to keep an eye on this spring. Saturday, April 13th is Alabama. You also have teams like Florida, Arkansas, Ohio State, Boston College, Penn State on the Big Ten Network, Pitt, Miami, Florida, Ole Miss. I could go down the list with all of these. If you're watching this back too, appreciate you. I don't know how long we'll go, but we'll see. But some things I wanted to personally talk about. You look at Auburn, their wide receiver depth is huge. The starters are out, according to reports. That's at least what I'm reading. So it it's it's interesting to look at that because they talk a lot. There's a lot of articles out there recently about Auburn this year, and I'm pretty high on Auburn going into this season. More higher than I've been on them in a while. And it's crazy because they got teams like Georgia and Alabama on the road, but you really look at what they bring back depth wise, and you look at Hugh Freeze. I mean, he was only able to, I mean, what do you go, 6-7? And he brings a lot back, even Peyton Thorne at quarterback. So I really see some improvement. It's going to be a tough schedule. It is. I'm not going to deny that. But at the same time, you got to look at the spring this year. Keontae Scott, according to reports, becomes a top dog at cornerback. Taylor Jones put this out. Doesn't say what he's with, though. This is from one of those Microsoft websites. And they talk about Champ Anthony, Keontae Scott, and Jay Crawford. I could go down the list with, you know, the different corners. I mean, they've always been this defensive back school at Auburn in years under Gus Malzahn, even a couple guys under Brian Harsin when he was there for a year and a half. And I mean, you could go down the list. I love the wide receiver depth. Some starters are out, but the two guys to keep an eye on are Coy Moore for Auburn and Caleb Burton III. Now, here's the thing. The offensive line battle, not really an offensive line battle, but when you look at how is their offensive line going to work out this year? How is it going to improve? Is it gonna be enough? Because I really think here's how I view Auburn. Here's how I view Auburn's offense going into the season, is that they are in a position where if they could just get the offensive line in gear, they can protect their quarterback. And they have guys like Coy Moore out there at wide receiver, I mean, Caleb Burton. They have the guys out there to make big plays down the field, and it can improve their offense on a whole nother level. They just gotta get the offensive line. I mean, the offensive line is so it's weird because we always look at the quarterbacks and the wide receivers and the running back game, and that's fine. But if you don't have that protection and that unit and unity as an offensive line, what good is it? You're gonna be running around like a chicken with its head cut off. I mean, really, think about it. You'll leave the quarterback scrambling for his life if you don't have protection. I mean, for real. And then you also got a lot of different quarterback battles for Auburn. It's not just Peyton Thorne. Now he's the guy, uh, But then you also have a true freshman in Walker White. You have a guy named Hank Brown, who's a redshirt freshman, saw action in one game last year in the Maryland game in the bowl game. Holden Gerner's been there a couple years. As a redshirt sophomore, he's been QB number 2 according to reports in spring practice. So he last year, according to this article, he threw 15 passes, completing 5 of them for 75 yards. He's been praised before for having what may be the best arm out of the entire group, having a knack for putting some extra zip on his throws. So that's good. That's good for Auburn, right? I I just I think it's Peyton Thorne's job to lose for Auburn this year in 2024. And I say that because of his experience from even going back to Michigan State. I mean, he was a dog at Michigan State. I mean, he ran around, he completed most like I mean, I think at one point he was like 69, 70% on his passes, which is pretty good. And, you know, he's just got that leadership role locked in for Auburn right now, and it's obviously his job to lose. But we'll watch the spring game now this week. I believe I am. I have to check my calendar. If I am working on Saturday, okay, I am. So I won't be able to like go live for Auburn's game, but it'd be something to keep an eye on because it's it will show like, just how much Peyton Thorne has grown, but also these backups, like Holden Gardner. Uh, I mean, you wanna see depth, you wanna see growth in the quarterback room for Auburn. You wanna see that among a lot of different teams out there in college football. I mean, think of Alabama with Jalen Milroe. Like, it's his job. It's kinda like see, I think Auburn's in a position like Alabama or Clemson. Even Clemson, who has their spring game this weekend, Cade Klubnik. It's his job to lose. But then you also got guys out there like Christopher Vizina coming in as a freshman. Or is this his first year? I think he just signed with them back in December. So like I mean, either way, you got guys on the depth chart. You got it for Clemson, for Alabama, for Auburn. What do they have in common though? They have their guy. And it's their job to lose. And the only way they lose it is if they screw up and someone comes along and saves the day for the offense. That's not Jalen Milroe. That's not Peyton Thorne. That's not Cade Klubnik. There's that, right? Speaking of Clemson, the defense has dominated the trenches. Trio, a really good trio, features Peter Woods. Garrett Riley is helping Cade Klubnik out a lot in year 2. So, I look at Clemson, definitely on the defensive side. Wade Woda Woodas. So Jeremiah Trotter's going to the NFL. He was the Mike linebacker, and now Wade Woodas, and then Barrett Carter comes back in. Uh, he's going to be huge. So they looked at this Wade Woodas, if I'm even saying his last name right. Wodas, I don't know. Let's call him Wade. Let's go by his first name here. So they looked at Wade, according to reports, in the Gator Bowl. That's just one game with limited preparation. He spent the entire offseason adjusting to this spot. He's called it freeing for his game. Let's see. And they go on to say, I mean, Jeremiah Trotter is going to be hard to replace. I agree. But here's the thing about Clemson. Clemson has become one of those teams in college football. I know they've fallen off in recent years. I see you there, Brock. How you doing, bro? Roll Tide, buddy. Clemson has become that team that they recruit at a high level still. It's fallen off just a little bit this year. They also have always been that defensive team. They struggle on offense in recent years, and they can't get it figured out with Cade Klubnik. They couldn't get it figured out with DJ. They just had quarterback issues, receiver issues, some injuries. But Clemson has always had it on defense. They've always had it. It's almost like Nick Saban in Alabama, right? With Dabo Swinney. Think about it. Think about it. Yeah, they had some issues on offense for Alabama last year, and it took Jalen Milroe some time, and they got under his feet a little bit. Look at Clemson. It took Cade Klubnik late in the year against Kentucky and everybody against South Carolina, and I mean, you figured it out. But is it enough to propel you to the next level in 2024? I expect big things from Clemson this year. I'm not saying look, I kind of am. Now that I think about like we're having 12 instead of 4 teams, they got to make a 12 team playoff, don't they? They got to get back in that race for winning the ACC. Florida State is last year. That's gone. I'm sorry. Florida State's not going to be that good this year. I mean, they might make a bowl game and squeak by, but I think Georgia ruined Florida State. And they're still in the ACC, by the way. But I'll say about Clemson is they have the tools. They have the coaching. They got Dabo, that boy, Dabo. They got him. Go out and make something with it. You don't think Dabo wants to get back on top of college football? I'd be shocked if he said, I'm not concerned about that. Yes, he does. I'm not saying they're going to win a championship this year. By all means, I would be shocked. But if they could take those extra steps, if they could go in, I mean, look at their schedule real quick. Let's pull their schedule up. I mean, is there really much room for error? There's not many teams leaving the ACC or joining the ACC this year, I don't think. 2024 schedule. Here we go. So they got their spring game. Georgia. That's probably a loss, but if you pull that off in the kickoff game on August 31st, that should give you momentum. App State. What about NC State? That could be tough. Stanford at home. That's homecoming. That's a good opponent to play, but I don't expect much from the Cardinal. At Florida State, we'll see what they look like. I expect Florida State to drop off drastically. I'm sorry. Wake Forest, Virginia, Louisville, Virginia Tech, Pitt, Citadel, South Carolina. There's no reason you can't probably squeak out 10 wins. That's my opinion. I'm not saying that as facts. It might be facts. Get the fact checkers. I don't know. But for real, Clemson, this is your moment to get back. You don't got to win a championship, but man, be one of the best 12 teams and get into the CFP. Like, Dabo, what are you doing? What are you doing? So I mentioned the defense has dominated the trenches and everything this spring. Garrett Riley's going to help Cade Klubnik in year 2. Uh, as far as I'm concerned, he's coming back. Is Garrett Riley still at Clemson? Last time I checked, I was reading that he was. He should still. Yeah, he's a coordinator. Okay, so I've read sources correctly. Now he helped out a little bit last year, but for the most part, like it's only up from here, right? At least in my book. So there's Clemson. UAB, no one really cares. I care. Um, I'm not going to get into it too much, but from what I have read, the offense and the defense have both looked great and improved in the first scrimmage for UAB in 2024. Coach Trent Dilfer had a lot to say, and uh, you know, pretty much the whole coaching staff comes back in. I think they're going to go very far. I mean, they could even compete for the American Conference this year. Uh, could be a dark horse. They were um, so UAB finished last season, according to reports, ranked 18th in both total offense and passing offense, and should be even more explosive despite losing two of its top, uh, you know, offensive players from a season ago. Lee Babi is leading the running back unit with Isaiah Jacobs and LSU transfer Armani Goodwin out with injuries. So could those guys get back? Armani Goodwin's really, really good. I remember watching a little bit of him at LSU. Um, in the running back group, Isaiah Jacobs, don't really know too much on him. I'm just going off what I'm reading here. Uh, but for the most part, like they lose some, but they make up with the transfer portal. So early enrollees and recruiting too. I just honestly, I just want to watch UAB and see what they do. So they play. They don't even go on TV, but they play Saturday, April 6th, this Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern. That'll be good. That'll be really good. So anyway, there's that. We talked a little bit about Auburn. We talk Clemson. We'll talk up A-Day next week if we can. I'm not ready to get into it too much. For Alabama, let's see. I guess I've kind of run through everything, honestly. But it's good to see Brock in here. I love you, bro. Yeah, I always appreciate you showing up and supporting the channel. I love and appreciate all of you. And I'm sorry that I step away sometimes and haven't been on here too much lately. I'm so glad, like, God has blessed me today with an off day that I can come on here and talk with you guys. So I think that's pretty good. um, can I find time to talk up A-Day with you guys a little more next week? Let's see what we can do. I'm working. Well, tell you what, I'll have to set it up, but I think we could do a Friday night next week. Friday, April 12th. It'd be the night before A-Day. We could do about 9 o'clock. I think that'd be okay. I think that'd be okay. Anyway, so yeah, I've kind of run through everything. Clemson, UAB, Auburn, Alabama. I just want to see them play. I just want to see how much of a drop off or improvement. I doubt it's really an improvement. I mean, Nick Saban's Nick Saban. But is there any drop off with Kalen DeBoer? We're gonna find out next Saturday. We're gonna find out. I don't think so. Because you got everybody back. You got guys coming back. Like Hayden Proctor left Iowa to come back. There's been Caleb Down rumors, even though I think he shut it down and said he's not leaving Ohio State. Uh, But I mean, Jalen Milrow is still the quarterback. Justice Haynes, I want to see him ball out in year two. He was a freshman last year, got a little bit of time. Uh, who else will be out there? I guess the receiving core, Isaiah Bonds at Texas. It would You gotta get back and look at what they have, man. Because even the recruits are kind of slipping my mind. Like, what does Alabama have? Because they've lost guys, they've gained some guys. Guys want to go play for Nick Saban. Nick Saban retires. Guys jump ship. Okay, that's just how it is. Oh my goodness, I got the schedule out. I know Kool Aid and J.C. Latham are going to the draft. Uh, Jermaine Burton's going to the draft. Chris Braswell, Terry and Arnold. Terry and Arnold's leaving. I mean, you would have had it set in stone with Caleb down. I guess you have so Jalen Key is a UAB transfer. Mm. I mean, there's a couple guys coming in. Like if they recruited, they got the new roster up. It looks like it's up here on or is this no, this is from last no, this is this year. It says 2023, but they got a lot of young guys on here now. Jalen Hale, Emmanuel Henderson, Kendrick Law, Kobe Prentice, Shaz Preston could go down the list with what they have it. Danny Lewis is supposed to be really good at tight end. I don't know. I really we'll know more after the spring game when they talk about guys and everything. And when we get the rosters, I want to know when they put the rosters out for A-Day what we're messing with. 2024 football roster. Here we go. Like I said, man, I get so busy with work. I don't even know what Alabama has. I mean, this is how busy I've been. Deontay Lawson's supposed to come back. Damani Jackson comes in from USC. Oh, that's right. They got all these transfers. Yeah. Keon Sabb from Michigan. Jeremy Bernard from Washington. Kobe Prentice. Peyton Woodyard. Devontae Smith. Jalen Mbakwe. Austin Mack is a quarterback transfer. Jaheim Otis comes back. Dylan Lonergan's still there. Xavier Mincy is a freshman. I guess Malachi Moore is coming back. He says he wants some. He wants some. Come get some. Like Ty Simpson's in there. Red Morgan is a freshman. Gosh. Anyway, Bubba Hampton. I haven't even heard that name. Dre Kirkpatrick Jr. Saban's first legacy commit. Saban retires. He's not even coaching Kirkpatrick's kid. Kalen DeBoer comes in for that. Justice Haynes is still there, of course. LT Overton, Jaron Hamill, Emmanuel Henderson, Jalil Hurley. I could go down the list. It's coming back to me now. They still got Tony Mitchell. Still got Tony Mitchell. Keon Keeley. I expect Keon Keeley to step up big time. Number 31, wearing Will Anderson's number. He's a redshirt freshman linebacker. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Spring game will be good for Alabama. I expect it to be good. I just want to know what everyone's going to find an excuse for. Because last year it was, oh, they just don't have a quarterback. They couldn't complete a pass. They couldn't do this. What are you like? What's going to be the one mistake from a spring game that's going to light everybody up to the point that Alabama's not going to be good this year? What is it? Receivers can't catch. That was last year. Oh, they can't get separation. They can't this. They can't that. I don't know. I'm excited for it. I'm going for the festivities at A-Day. I still got to look into what they're going to have. And I should be going with Rama Jamma Taylor. So I'll keep in touch. I told him I keep in touch with him. What quarterback am I looking forward to in A-Day? So that's interesting too. I don't know because we know about Jalen Miller. We know what he did last year. Helped Alabama get to the playoffs. You know, Gravedigger play in the Iron Bowl, beat Georgia, all that stuff. We know about him. I guess we've seen Ty Simpson. He's still my guy because he was a 5-star recruit. I got so excited when he committed, and then like I think it's Ty Simpson. I want to see the backup quarterback battle, and I want him to go out there and show that it's his job to lose. I want to see him put that ball on the money line with these receivers. I want to see Ty Simpson. I'm telling you. Now, if I had to step outside of Ty Simpson, I look at this, quarterback room. I go Ty Simpson, Jalen Milroe, right? Austin Mack is a transfer. Dylan Lonergan comes in. The last guy anyone's going to talk about is Cade Carruth, who's a junior. He stuck it out for a while. 6'1", 195 from Trustville. Uh, I guess Dylan Lonergan, 6'2", 212 from Snellville, Georgia, and Brookwood High School. I guess it's Dylan Lonergan after Ty Simpson. Unless Austin Mack has anything to say. All I know is it's QB1, Jalen Milroe, QB2, Ty Simpson. Then you kind of get into the Austin Macks or Dylan Lonergans of things, and you don't know. You just don't know. I mean, what do you want to see? What do you want to talk about? Who's going to throw in A-Day for 80 plus yards or 100 plus yards? And the other thing about these spring games is you could say, like, there's two sides of the coin where, oh, the offense didn't look good. Look at the final score. It's 14-10. But the defense looked like they were after it, man. But of course, there's going to be people out there that want to find the negatives. They just do. And I hate that. I get it. Because you want to see a perfection. You want to see a perfect game. Give it everything you got, which is correct. Yes. These college kids, like, man, like the defense looked great last year in the spring game for Alabama. And I think it was like 21-10 was the score, and I think the Crimson team won over the white. I want to say, um, but the the narrative was, well, these quarterbacks are no good. They're no good. They got to go to the transfer portal and they go get Tyler Buckner from Notre Dame, right? Oh, and Nick Saban looked around and he said, Jalen Milroe, Ty Simpson. No, give me Tyler Buckner. Like, there was so much negativity instead of praising the defense with Dallas Turner and everybody. It was all about, well, the quarterbacks are no good. And Jalen Milroe, I mean, he proved himself last year, at least late in the season. You know, like, I mean, come on. He had, I don't even know. I don't have his stats pulled up. I don't know. I know in that Auburn game though, he was like 66% on his throws. He was 16 to 24, 260 throwing almost. I mean, even in a loss to Michigan, he was almost 70%. Like he didn't really have any passing touchdowns or rushing. I don't know, man. We got someone on. What's up? Ty Bills.
Hey, man.
Hey, how are you?
Good. I have some questions about the spring game.
Okay, which ones in particular?
Okay, so first off, I want to know when the Alabama one is.
April 13th. It'll be in 10 days and it will air on ESPN.
Okay, so can we expect like other teams to have their spring game on the same date or around that time?
Yeah, so I can pull it back up real quick. Alabama's not the only one playing that day. So, and I think they're the only one at that time though, because they're at 4 Eastern. Actually, you will have on television Alabama, Miami, and Ole Miss all at 4 o'clock on ESPN channels. But Alabama's on the main ESPN channel there. Uh, Throughout the day, you'll have Pitt, Penn State, LSU, Georgia. You'll have other teams too.
Okay, another question I have is like with the new like TV deals and stuff going on, do you expect us to see like games at different times when it comes to like the SEC?
Like with the new TV
Yeah,
contract
yeah.
and everything?
Do you think like do you think we're gonna be like primarily just with like the prime time and noon slot games, or do you think there'll be any like big games at 2:30 like they're used
So
to?
there might be. I don't know for sure, but I would assume because you got like what is it? SEC and ABC. So like you had every once in a while a 8 o'clock game on CBS, but you always had the 2:30. But with ABC, I wanna say you'll get, like, the 6:30 matchups or 7 o'clock, and then you'll get, like, the 11 a.m. kickoff times. I don't know for sure how it's gonna work out, but that's probably what I would expect.
All right, nice. Another question about Alabama. What is their quarterback room looking like right now?
It's Jalen Milroe's job to lose. That's kinda what I was just going through, but, I think it starts with Milroe, it goes to Simpson, and then everyone's fighting for that 3rd spot. I would say Dylan Lonergan. Tyler Buckner transferred out. I think he went back to Notre Dame, but they I I I would say it starts with Jalen and then Ty, and then we got a transfer in Austin Mack, and I forget exactly. I think I was just reading it, but I forget where he came from. He was a transfer that came in, so I'm hearing good things about him contributing to the team in reports. But for the most part, it's Jalen and Ty Simpson to start out.
Is there a specific position group that makes you excited for the upcoming season?
So I think what concerns me, I'll start with what concerns me is going to be the offensive line. I'm excited. I'm excited for the defensive backs. Um, Jalen Key is a UAB transfer. He's supposed he's supposed to come back. I'm always excited for the defensive backs and what they have. The linebacker, really, honestly, let me change my answer here because I would say I don't know, probably the linebackers, and I don't know 100% like everybody, but you have like Jeremiah Alexander, you have Curtis Perry, you have you at least last year you had the Georgia transfer and Tresman Marshall. I don't know what he's gonna do. Quay Russaw. Um there's different names. I think it kind of curious makes me curious because Dallas Turner, if he from what I understand, is going pro, I wanna know who's gonna step up and take his place, because last year, remember you had, or the year before, you had Will Anderson, right? Well, Dallas Turner got some playing time, and he stepped up in big ways alongside Will Anderson. Well, nobody re like, you had Chris Braswell last year with Dallas Turner. Both of those guys are leaving, so I wanna know who is gonna step into that role completely. And again, I'm asking so many questions. I know I seem like I'm stumbling over my words and all that, but like honestly, I have the same questions you all have. I won't know anything until we watch the spring game and review it and really just take it all in.
Yeah. Speaking of Dallas Turner, normally the Tide has a pretty good turnout when it comes to the draft. Um, do you think that will be the case this year?
I think so. I think with Nick Saban's final year and having guys that were really, really good, um, that I mean, you got different guys going to the NFL draft for Alabama, and I it should be a good turnout. I mean, again, it's later this month in April, of course, at the end of the year. Dallas Turner, Chris Braswell. We had I think we had a receiver. Jermaine Burton. I mean, he's probably a day 2 guy. You got Terry and Arnold in the first round somewhere, Dallas Turner I mentioned. Um, it should be a good turnout. JC Latham is an offensive tackle, so I I would say it's a good turnout. It probably won't be the best it's been, but, for the most part, you'll see some guys on day 1 and then see more guys on day 2.
This is kind of a personal question. Are you still at Wallace State?
I am. I'm still trying to finish up. I could graduate this semester, but I'm probably gonna try to finish up in the summer or the fall. But I appreciate you asking. You're good, man.
Yeah. How have they been? Have you stuck around their athletic programs at all recently?
So basketball season's done. I forget. I don't. I got so busy. I didn't even see where they ended up in the county tournament or the conference tournament. I should say. I don't know. Baseball is struggling a little bit, but they still look really good at times. I think the only thing is their record right now is just barely below 500. Um, softball's always been pretty good. I had reached out to try to get an interview with the new head coach, and have uh I don't think I've been to a softball game yet, but they should be okay this year.
That's cool.
Yeah. Let me
Um,
see. I got their schedule pulled up. I
yeah.
wanna see their record. Oh, they're killing it. Yeah, yeah, because they started with fall exhibition games. Softball right now is 19-7. That's good. That's top notch. Now baseball right now is 14-21, but they're good in conference play at 9-7. They've won their last 2 games. I don't know. Baseball is kinda tough. They weren't really as low as they are this year. Like, they weren't like that last year. They weren't. But they're winning. They won their last 2 games like, this Saturday, and they had home games. I had to work or whatever I had, so I didn't go. But it looks like they won 13-7 and then 11-3. And they had on Thursday, they were on the road, and they lost. I wish I could have been there for this. 16-15. That is a slugfest, ladies and gentlemen. I think, I mean, they could turn it around. Like baseball could make a comeback season. They just got to not lose any more games. I mean, if they have one, let's see, it's all in double headers, so I'll count that. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
Do they play any
8.
D1
No, so they
schools?
have they have like 16 games in total, 8 double headers if you want to look at it that way. So 16 games, if they win out, you're looking at a 30-21 record if they win out, which is gonna be hard to do.
Do they play any D1 teams?
They
NCAA team?
play, like NCAA?
Yeah.
I think they have in years like, in recent years that I've read where they've played Auburn, but, like, this year, they've just kinda played, so it's all, like, Division 3, so or they might play some Division 2, I think, but I think for the most part, the NJCAA, the National Junior College, so they're just kinda sticking to their conference there. It's I think what was it? Was it baseball or was it softball that played Auburn last season? Somebody played Auburn, and I don't know how they did, but that I knew they played.
Okay. Final Four is Saturday, right?
Yes, sir, and Alabama's in it.
How do you feel about that game? Because UConn's been unbelievable this year.
Yeah, when I saw we had to play UConn, I said it was fun while it lasted, guys. Thank you for all the, love and support, and, thank you for making the Final Four for the first time. Now, what would be amazing, I think what do you let me ask you this. What do you wanna see in the championship game as far as the teams? Do you want Cinderellas or do you want favorites?
So who we have UConn, Alabama, and then we have Purdue and NC State, right?
And yeah, I made a video yesterday and I think I deleted it. I got kind of upset because I forgot it was NC State. I don't know who I said it was, but I got the team wrong, but it is NC
It
State.
happens.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I definitely, if I'm being honest, I want Purdue to win it outright. I want them
Yeah.
to like complete the Virginia storyline where they lose to the 16th seed and they come back the next year and win the whole thing. I would really love to see that because, yeah,
I
they
would like
never
that too.
Purdue. They've always been a solid program, but they've never been able to finish when it comes down to the later stages of March. So yeah, I would love to see Purdue win it all. When it comes to Alabama and UConn, uh, I mean, UConn they made it
Say it,
last
say
year,
it. Roll Tide.
but I don't know, man. Yeah, I mean Alabama, they've done a phenomenal job this far, but they're really gonna have to make all their shots.
Yeah,
Um,
they like, you're gonna miss some, but they cannot have this back-to-back missed opportunities, like
yeah,
so what would be cool is if we had the favorites like UConn and Purdue would be a good game. I'm a Cinderella guy. I love the stories. I love Alabama, NC State would be the dream right there, and obviously Alabama winning, but to see a team like NC State, if they could win it all, I think that would be amazing.
yeah, that would be pretty cool. Um, yeah, I think that'd be neat. Definitely something I think most of us wouldn't have expected to see. Um, I don't know if you paid any attention to this, but did you hear about the LSU and Iowa game and how it like broke like record numbers?
Yeah, I also saw something yesterday, and I hate getting into politics, but I saw something had happened during the anthem too. I
Yeah.
had saw that. So something controversial or I don't think it was like players kneeling or anything. I think what it was it the coach of LSU that like walked off the court?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I just had saw the game and it was a really good game.
I don't she came out, she apologized, but like I had saw something like that yesterday on the news and but I you know it's, I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah, Caitlin Clark has had a phenomenal season. And they fell short in the championship last year. And
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see if they can finish it off this year. South
I
Carolina
want
has
I
been
want Iowa, South Carolina. Now, think about this. So for those that don't know, so we mentioned the men's Final Four. How about NC State and UConn in the women's? Dude, how cool would it be if we got UConn NC State for both men's and women's championships? You know how rare it is to get the same exact teams to match? I don't know if that's ever happened.
it'd be funny if they were to split. If that were to some way
Oh,
happen,
like
and they
if like
split.
NC State wins the men's and UConn wins the women's
Yeah,
or
that would be
something.
really funny. I don't think
Yeah.
that I don't I, I don't think that's gonna happen in the first place. I don't even think they're gonna both make the championship. Only
I would
only
say
one. And hey, there's
I
a
would
possibility
say
none of them make the championship. I think we'll see at least one and one. I think it's probable we can see at least one of the schools in each of their respective championships.
yeah,
But no, honestly, when it comes to the women's side, I think you gotta think South Carolina and Iowa are the heavily favorite teams to make um, the the championship. But I mean, UConn, uh, they 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 kind of had a down year last year, and this year they've done pretty well, but they've had a really good tournament run, and it's gonna be
yeah,
exciting to see if they can get back to the top with the new teams. Yeah,
absolutely, absolutely. I don't know. I mean, I like South Carolina, and I like the favorites in the women's, and I guess I like Purdue over NC State. I just think it'd be cool to have NC State be that team, like, for real for the men's. But obviously, as an Alabama fan, like, you want the Crimson Tide in it. And I mean, be real, like, you guys hate us in football. How do you think everyone else has reacted to Alabama and men's basketball this year? Are they pulling for us, you think?
Uh,
I mean, it's a good
I'm not,
story. Like,
I'm
you
not
haven't seen
sure.
this. I mean, what's
Yeah, I
that?
mean, I think everyone loves the people always love the Cinderella story.
Yeah.
Zach Edey has a lot of hype from Purdue. He's been very well loved, I felt like. So he's got a large fan base. And then UConn, I don't think people are fans of back to backs, but
Yeah.
some people might want to see that. And then Alabama, I felt like they kind of came out of nowhere on a lot of people's radar. Obviously, I felt like they had respect, but this year Bama didn't have the greatest regular season like they've had in seasons past. But Nate Oates has, totally turned it up
Yeah.
here in March.
They have. They played some close games too. They only won by 2 over UNC. They played Clemson in the Elite 8 and only won by 7. So, like, they know what it takes to win a close game, and, I think this UConn game's down to the wire unless UConn just shoves it down their throats, which I hope doesn't happen. I think it could, but
Uh,
w
I think you
I
got to
think
keep it
people
close.
here's the thing, like, I don't think people hate UConn, but it's gonna be a boring Final Four, and it's gonna lose viewers if all they do is go and dominate Alabama, which I have a feeling it could, but I don't think it will happen, you know?
Yeah. How many? Back to your. I have a question about your channel. How many shows you have running right now?
Touchdown Tuesdays, the Ballard Blitz, I'm trying to get back to. We had that this morning. That's on Wednesdays, and then I'm trying to get going with this MLB one on Mondays, so it's about 3, and then if I can, I've been working Sundays, but I do wanna find time for call-in shows. So, maybe about 3 or 4 that are going, but I'm trying to get back to consistency.
I know. How's Chess Hall been? I know he has like a wrestling channel. Have you
He's
talked
doing
to him?
good. I text him and, like, he watches my church does live services on Facebook and stuff, and he'll watch from home and everything, so he's he's enjoying that. He's doing really good, and, we keep in touch often. The only thing that we haven't touched base on mostly is our show, the Unprofessional Sports Show. I'm sure he would be open to bringing it back, and I would too, but like I said, I get busy with work and everything. It's just so hard to find the time, so I mean, I'm not trying to put it off too much, but at the same time, he's also busy with work. We just can't. But to answer your question, he's doing really well.
All right, Ballard. Thank you for having me on.
Thanks, Ty. Appreciate you. Ty Bills, everybody. I think has he been on here before? I've seen the name. I think I really think I have. Anyway, love you, buddy. Thank you. Thank you for that. Okay, so we got a couple people watching. We're gonna go ahead and call it a show. Gonna relax a little bit, go to this group at Wallace today, and then go to church. So I love you guys. We'll keep in touch on here about the Final Four and everything. I'll keep posting videos and all that. I hope everyone has a fantastic Wednesday, uh, and a great rest of your week. So I love you. Jesus loves you. Trust and believe it. And we'll see you next time. Ballard Sports Media. Check it out. I love y'all. Peace. Roll Tide.